Hello and welcome back to Early Years Explorers. I'm Afaf Zayden, and this is the space where we talk honestly about early childhood. The learning, the emotions, the relationships, and the realities that don't always make it into newsletters and social media posts. Today's episode is about something many parents and educators experience, but don't always talk about openly. It's about constant connection, frequent check-ins during the school day, and the growing expectation of immediate responses, and how this can quietly impact children, parents, and teachers. Let's explore this together. Hi, and thanks for joining me. Before we begin and go any further, I want to say this clearly. If you're listening as a parent, this episode is not about blame. It's not about labels, and it's definitely not about caring too much. If you're thinking, is this going to be uncomfortable? It might be, but in a reflective way, not a judgmental one. This is an invitation to pause and ask, why do I feel the need to check in so often? What am I hoping that this message will give me? And is it helping my child in the long run? Let's hold curiosity as we continue. This is all about when staying closely connected becomes too much. In the early years, being closely connected to your child feels natural. It can look like messaging during the school day to ask how your child is feeling, wanting updates about eating, playing, or friendships, feeling uneasy when there's no reply, sending a follow-up message because silence feels uncomfortable. If you're wondering, isn't this just being involved? Yes. Involvement matters. The shift happens when connection turns into urgency, when reassurance is needed immediately, and when silence feels unsafe. Most of the time, this isn't about control. It's about anxiety, attachment, and love. And sometimes this pattern is referred to as helicopter parenting, which isn't meant as an insult or a criticism. It's simply the term commonly used today to describe very close, very attentive parenting. Let's look at what research tells us, because this isn't just about opinion or experience. In many European countries, particularly in Finland and Sweden, early childhood education is built on strong trust in educators. Parents are informed and involved, but they're not given constant real-time updates throughout the day. Research from these contexts show that when parents trust educators' professional judgment, children develop greater independence. They show stronger emotional regulation, and they feel secure exploring their environment. Now, if we take it to the other side of the world, in Australia, the Early Years Learning Framework emphasises secure, respectful, and reciprocal relationships between families and educators. Australian research also highlights that over-monitoring can increase parental anxiety. Children benefit from adults stepping back at times. Trust between parents and teachers supports resilience. Now, if you're thinking, but knowing more helps me feel calmer, that research suggests something important. Trust builds confidence more effectively than constant reassurance. Now we're going to step into the reality of a teacher's day. Let's pause and let me paint you a real picture of an early years classroom. It's 7:30 a.m. A teacher is settling a child who misses his mum, supporting another who just fell over, and leading a small group activity. Meanwhile, the parent communication app is buzzing with parent messages. Has he eaten yet? Is she still sad? Has she settled? Can you check if he's playing with anyone? Just following up on my message from 10 minutes ago. No reply yet. By 9:30 a.m., the parent is panicking. By 11, the story has grown in their own mind. And by pickup time, the teacher is emotionally exhausted before the conversation even started. This isn't because teachers don't care. It's because teachers are present with the children at that particular time, not their iPads or iPhones. Now, here's why this creates pressure for teachers. This is the part that often goes unspoken. When teachers feel expected to respond immediately, it creates emotional overload, blurred professional boundaries, pressure to prove care through availability, and reduced presence with children. If you're thinking, I didn't realize all of this, that awareness alone matters. Most parents don't intend to create stress, but over time, constant messaging can make teachers feel monitored rather than trusted. Now, let's lighten this up for a moment of perspective, because sometimes I think parents imagine teachers like this: teaching with one hand, holding a child with the other, typing a detailed response with a third invisible hand, and somehow maintaining a calm energy. If teachers did reply instantly all day, every day, that would actually be more concerning, because quality early years education depends on presence, not constant connectivity. Let's be honest, early years teachers already carry emotional labour. They already hold responsibility for children's well-being, and they already navigate high expectations. So the constant messaging adds pressure to be always available. And there's a fear of being as unresponsive, blurred boundaries between work and personal time. Many teachers feel they're being watched rather than trusted. And that hurts, because most educators chose this profession because they care deeply about children and families. Now let's talk about the parents too. Here's the other side of this. Parents are living in a world of social media comparisons, parenting advice overload, and fear of doing it wrong. Guilt about time away from their child as well. For many parents, messaging a teacher feels like staying connected, not controlling. One parent once said to me, "If I don't ask, my mind fills in the gaps." And they're usually worse than the reality. That's true. That matters. And it deserves compassion. You see, parents and teachers need to build a healthy partnership. And this is what it looks like. Because it isn't about the constant access. It's about clear communication expectations with agreed response times. Teachers need permission to say, "I'll respond when I am able to." And that's how I stay present with your child. Parents need reassurance that no message doesn't mean something's wrong. Trusting that important information will be shared. Trust the day to day. Not every moment needs reporting. If something important happens, trust me, you'll hear about it. Silence often means that your child is okay. Support independence, even when it's hard. See, research strongly supports allowing children to experience small frustrations, minor conflicts, moments of uncertainty. Children are allowed to experience these small emotions and small challenges. They're not failures. They're the foundation for resilience, and they build independence, not harm. If you're wondering, so when should I message them? Ask yourself whether it's information your child needs you to act on or reassurance you need in the moment. Now, as we wrap this up, here's a final reflection. At the heart of this conversation is care. Everything we've discussed, the frequent messages, the worry, the sense of urgency, comes from a place of care, concern, and deep love for children. When we look at both ends of the spectrum, anxious, highly involved parents and teachers feeling stretched to their limits, the origin is the same. Everyone wants the best for the children in their care. Partnership, however, asks us to pause. It also asks us to reflect honestly and gently on our intentions. Before sending that next message, before stepping in, before reacting, ask yourself, am I helping my child grow, or am I seeking reassurance for myself? Because sometimes the most powerful thing that we can do for the children isn't action or instruction. Sometimes it's the act of stepping back, taking a deep breath, and trusting the adults and community that surround them. Trusting the teacher, the parent, the community. The village we've chosen is working together with the same goal. Trusting that children are resilient and capable, trusting that in giving them space to explore and navigate small challenges, we're actually helping them grow stronger, more confident, and more independent. And that is the essence of true partnership, one built on trust, reflection, patience, and empathy. Thank you for joining me on Early Years Explorers. If this episode resonated with you, whether as a parent or an educator, I invite you to pause and reflect. Consider how your care and attention support children's growth. And remember that sometimes the most powerful things we do is step back, breathe, and trust the adults and community around them. I'll see you next time on Early Years Explorers, where we continue exploring, reflecting, and celebrating the early years, the messy, the magical, and everything in between.